let's dive into Deep Work by Cal Newport and how leaders and aspiring leaders can find time, create routines, and optimize their life for deep work. Keeping everything simple, let's jump right in. Anyone who's worked with a team, either in person or remote, knows how hard it is to stay focused on your work when at any point, anyone can try to vie for your attention. A random email, a random Slack message, a random text message from your team or coworkers, maybe someone's just talking way too loudly right by your desk. It happens. Distractions are everywhere, and that can impede your ability to do deep work. And because distractions exist literally everywhere, that's what makes it super important that you find time or create time to do deep work and meaningful work that actually moves the needle of progress on whatever you're working on forward. So here's a couple ways you can find and create that time. Use a do not disturb sign or email. Okay, so this one sounds a little bit old school, but hear me out here. If you are telling your team, communicating with them, I'm going to take an hour or 2 or 3, within reason, of course, that I won't be looking at my email, I won't be looking at my Slack, I won't be looking at my text messages, and you tell them, do not disturb me, essentially, you can protect that time and create that time to do deep work. And it is as simple as saying, hey, I'm going to be busy during this hour. I will get back to you all, to whatever emails and messages, unless it's an emergency, after this hour. And that's one way you can do this. Next up is seeing what time actually already exists in your daily life. So this means taking a step back and taking inventory of where you are spending bulk amount of your time and what task you are actively doing. From there, you really want to see, how can I put some of this work together and get some of my time back? If you're answering emails every 30 minutes, then it's probably going to be better for you to answer all your emails after lunch or right before you go to lunch, and maybe spend an hour, half an hour, whatever you need at the end of your day, wrapping up any loose ends with your email. This is batching your work together to see that you had time that already existed, but it was being taken up by smaller administrative or shallow work that wasn't really moving the needle forward. And what's unique about this is that you may actually already have time to allocate towards deep work. It's just a matter of clumping it together and reallocating other tasks to other points in the day. The final way in which you can find time or create time to actually do deep work is actually to be so easy to get a hold of. Now, this sounds a little counterintuitive, so let me explain. And I think I heard this from either Cal Newport's podcast or it was actually in the Deep Work book, and that part eludes my brain. But here's what I mean. If you are time blocking your calendar and setting aside time so everyone can see when you have open availability, the trick here is you're the one deciding when to have those meetings. If these are half-hour meetings, then you can fit those into certain blocks that you have decided. And you use that time to your advantage by being easy to get a hold of, but that protects the time that you have to do deep work because you have reallocated what already exists and you have made yourself easy to get a hold of so that people know, oh, I can just come to them, find a time, and we can go from there. Sounds counterintuitive, but try it out. See how that one goes. Once you have found, created, or reallocated time to deep work, you gotta then see how you can make it a routine. So think about it like this. What is the first hour of your workday spent doing? And the importance of recognizing what that routine is for you that you already have and the one you want to make is that you can condition your brain to allow yourself to slip into that deep work state with a lot less friction. And also, it allows you to build a routine around being productive and not just filling the time from clock in to clock out with smaller tasks that are helpful but aren't deep, meaningful work. And a little myth to dispel here is that a routine doesn't need to be long. So when you think routine, you might think of an influencer's, here's my 12 or 24 step nightly routine in which I brew myself a cup of tea and then I wash my face and then I have a 10-step facial exfoliation process that I go through. That's not what this means here. The routine doesn't actually need to be very long. It just needs to be a set of actions that you take in a repeated timely sequence that allows your brain to recognize this is what I'm doing before I start a certain task. The important thing here is that you test out routines and try to find what works for you in a way that allows you to, again, minimize friction and get into that deep work state that much quicker. And the final thing that you'll need to do as a leader who wants to do deep work is optimize your routine and your findings. So Cal Newport in the book Deep Work says an hour is usually kind of at most someone who's inexperienced with deep work can eke out of the day. So just 1 hour. That doesn't seem like much. But then you have to take into consideration the masters of deep work, and he used the example of musicians in his podcast and in the book, is that at most, the deep work that you can get in a day is only 4 hours. However, 4 hours of deep work can actually do so much in terms of the results you are creating. From there, it just becomes a matter of trial and error as you refine your approach to deep work. And one of the things I feel I do have to stress here is that when you want to optimize, you have to take into account that you won't always be able to get that routine just right, or some things will actually go wrong and you can't dedicate the amount of time you fully want to be in deep work. Like, it has to be within reason. You can't expect yourself to be able to get out of every single meeting. You can't expect yourself to postpone all your one-on-ones, and you can't expect yourself to be able to shut out everything and everyone all the time consistently. The matter of communication between you and your team will help alleviate some of these problems, but you have to remain flexible as you try to optimize your time and stretch that muscle and grow that muscle for deep work. So that way, when you do get those opportunities and when you do get those chances, you actually can fully dive in and fully embrace the work before you. Here is my challenge for you. This week, every single day, I want you to try to find 1 hour. Either find, create, or reallocate some task throughout your day and find 1 hour that you can dedicate towards deep work, where you spend it on projects and tasks that are meaningful, that move the needle forward. That needle can be profits, progress, whatever it is, but you find 1 hour and you dedicate that to deep work. And then every single day, you try to repeat that process. You try to find a routine for it. And by the end of the week, you see if you've made more progress than you did the week before that. And then be sure you come back and comment your results and let us know how that challenge went for you. Keeping everything simple. Have an amazing day, you amazing people, and I will see you all in the next video.